You can't escape the scammer. Get rich quick. Lose weight fast. Buy a ticket to heaven. Or go for broke in the stock market. It seems wherever you find people, scams are sure to follow. So everyone, keep your eyes peeled and your wits about you. You never know what the next great scam will be. You are about to experience Greatest Scams Volume 1 on Deep Fat Fried, a show by the uneducated for the uneducated.
That's right. I love our tagline. We've got the best tagline of all time.
Scammers. Scams everywhere. You guys ready to hear about some of the greatest scams ever?
I'm ready, but I believe that Paul wanted to share some kind of nonsense.
What? Who?
Poral?
Who? I don't know any Paul. I know a Pual.
Sorry, Pual.
Okay, thank you.
Pual Ego. Lego my ego. Do it.
Ego, what's up, Ego?
You gotta unshare your screen for a second, Scotty.
All right, let me go ahead.
Get that shit off of here, Scotty. It's Paul's time to shine.
Get shit out of here because we've got breaking fucking news.
Naking brews
from the Sun. This is a picture of Amber Heard's duty.
Whoa.
Laying in Johnny Depp and Amber Heard's marriage bed. This just came out.
She shit the goddamn bed.
She shit in their bed, apparently over an argument they had about Johnny being late for her 30th birthday party. And this was the result. But there it is. There's the evidence right there in pixelated.
Oh, no.
Oh, God.
Shit the bed.
God damn shit the bed.
Everybody would like to know that Amber Heard shit in Johnny Depp's bed.
I mean, wow.
Oh, it's the wrong one. No.
Yeah, you pressed the wrong button, stupid ass motherfucker.
No. Oh.
There you go.
How do you have an actual sound?
How did you not remember which one was your fart? That's like the one you use the most.
I actually have. I kept my first board, all the defaults, and I added to the other ones.
Mm-hmm. Paul, I just want you to know, I mean, how are we even supposed to do this fucking show that Scotty has planned now? Now that I know that Amber Heard shit in that bed, I mean, I don't even, how do we even proceed?
If you guys need a, like, emotional day, like a you day, go to a spa. Well, I guess can't go to a spa because of coronavirus, but like a home spa day or something, you know, a colon cleanse, you know, an enema or whatever. Whatever you guys need to do to get right. I'm fine postponing the episode, giving you some time.
Yeah, I feel
in touch with yourself.
I feel like maybe I need some time, you know.
More like Amber Turd, am I right?
Oh my God. You're right. Yeah. Her name rhymes with turd and she fucking put a turd in a bed.
I mean, she shit the bed, dude, on purpose. I mean,
she literally shit the bed.
I mean, that takes commitment to be in the same bed you sleep in and go, you know what? I'm just going to shit my bed because you were late to my birthday party. And then you shit the bed. I mean, I don't know. Well, I mean, like, because that's like, look, you're committing to having a bed that one smells like shit. Two, you're probably going to be covered in some of the shit. I mean, you're like, who wants to sleep in a bed that's like, hey, that's the bed you shit in. Let's sleep in that bed. I'm like, obviously, you probably still will, but I mean, that's fucking disgusting.
Dude, one of these days before I die, I'm going to take a shit under TJ's pillow.
Don't do it.
What the fuck?
I'm just letting you know, TJ, one of these days before I die, I'm going to shit under your pillow.
So sometime in the next week, you're going to shit on my pillow. Gotcha.
Yep. So watch your pillows.
You know,
is that a threat, TJ?
That's not a threat. I'm just, making predictions.
You're making predictions. Oh, damn. Look, I'm just making a little prediction about you.
Just making a little, prediction about the future of Paul's ego's health,
Yeah. Oh, Paul, it would be terrible if an accident were to befall you and your life would be tragically cut short. I, of course, would, for one, mourn your loss.
Yeah, okay. I mean, it wouldn't be his loss. He's dead.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, my fucking horrible...
Yeah, his problems are over at that point.
Nightmare is over. The merry-go-round of life ends for you. Wow. I mean, like, I feel like this episode just has been overshadowed, dude. Like, I don't know, like, what you follow up with someone shitting the bed.
Amber Turd, dude. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, I feel like
EFF equals Amber Turd, dude.
I felt like a lot more gung ho to do things, but then I saw that and I was like, whoa, what the fuck?
That was her fucking. I mean, I think that's the whole reason why she did it in the first place. She wanted to like kind of like, you know, put like the kibosh on everything, like nothing matters anymore. You know,
there it is.
Because once
look, you can see like the duty stains over here.
Yeah, like they blurred out the turd itself, but they like showed all the turd residue.
Oh, dude, she like wiped her ass on the thing too.
Either that or she squatted down. See, here's what I think happened. Let me forensically reconstruct this shit.
Gotcha.
This is a footprint right here. Over here, this indentation, another footprint. So she straddled this right here, right? And squatted. When she shit, it started, as shits often do, with a splutter. And that is what we're seeing here. We're seeing that initial squirt that, you know, heralds the beginning or end of a shit.
See, I have a different theory about how the fucking splotch got there. I think the turd was initially there, but then when she left the scene and walked away, hold on, listen to the theory. Listen, I'll let you get through your bullshit theory. When she left the turd, when she walked away, she indented the bed and the turd rolled a little bit. I think that's what happened.
TJ, hold on. No. You're wrong.
Because that is not. I can tell you that shit right there looks that's not splatter, dude.
That is a fucking right here is a textbook splatter.
That is not a textbook splatter right there, dude. That right there is a smudge. That turd was sitting right there.
This is a droplet of liquidy shit. What the fuck happened?
I don't know. Somehow this guy is here.
You guys enhance the
he's here to judge us.
Hold on. This British magistrate has something to say about all of this, I think.
Yeah.
Indeed, I believe that Paul Zigo's argument is the stronger one. It was textbook splatter pattern, and I would say that at the beginning of Amber Heard's shit, there was some liquidy duty that sprayed out at a higher velocity before she dropped said turd.
Wow. Yeah. Is that your official legal opinion?
Yes.
Fuck, dude.
Well, luckily we're not in British court here because that guy is a fucking chucklehead.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you're right, dude. If those British laws actually applied here, then you'd have something to worry about. But Paul, he does make a fair point. Out of his jurisdiction, his legal opinion, I'm sure, is sound, but
we're still technically a colony. Our separation from Great Britain was illegal in every sense, and it was an illegitimate separation, and so we are still a colony.
Well, we're a colony that has embassies in the country that we're a colony of, so that is interesting.
Anyway, I guess we're here to talk about scams, right?
Yeah. I didn't realize that I have to deal with some shit like that, dude.
Yeah, literal shit.
Think about Johnny Depp, though. He had to really deal with the shit.
I mean, like, think about he had to,
shit, wasn't he?
Johnny Depp had to walk in that room, see that turd,
smell that turd too.
Smell it.
Was stinky.
Oh yeah. Dude.
Realize, and plus, like the reason he was late for her birthday or whatever is because he just found out he lost like fucking like a bunch of money, like $650 million or some shit, like some crazy amount of money.
What? Doesn't matter. She should have been more important.
That's fine, but like on the same day he lost that money, he has to go to bed and like he like goes in his bedroom like, I need a nap, and then there's a fucking giant turd in the fucking middle of the bed. You know, it's like, man, what the fuck?
You just got no fucking.
That's why he was sleeping on the floor in those pictures. He's like, I can't even fucking trust my own bed. There might be a turd.
You got no sympathy, TJ. Look, it was her 30th birthday. Can you take that money with you, TJ? Can you take it with you?
How many times you turned 30 in your life, TJ?
I never thought I'd see an Amber Heard turd, man.
Now you've seen
I know.
I'll never be able to see her in a movie or anything again without being like the turd, you know?
I know. I was shocked today as well.
She's going to be in the new Stephen King Stand adaptation, which I was planning on watching. And now I'm going to have to.
You know what her shits look like.
Yeah, every time I'm going to see her and be like, I'm just going to remember that big old pixelated turd laying in that bed.
Heard the turd. We heard the fucking turd.
I think she should just lean into it and just start calling herself Amber Turd. And
Amber Turd.
She really should. Just like, I'm Amber Turd now. Like, you're never going to think of me as anything else anyway. I'm Amber Turd. How you doing?
Dude, she should do German shit porn, dude. She'll be with the highest grossing German shit porn of all time.
Oh, yeah.
A Scheißen. Oh, yes.
Oh,
I can play Johnny
yeah.
Depp. You could be like, I lost a lot of money or whatever. And she'd be like,
Jesus Christ, dude.
Yeah.
What have I done? I'm sorry, Scotty. My apologies.
You really ruined this episode, Paul. This is on you. Anyway, Scotty, it's up to you. Try to get back on track, buddy.
Yeah, try and save this, Scotty.
Do what you can.
How can you? I mean, like, look, I don't think like the episode needs to be saved. I just don't know. Like, it's like I feel like we're in that fucking Guns N' Roses song. Where do we go now? I mean, like, you set the bar.
You know me. So there is a really, really large part of Paul's ego that wants to just discuss that turd for about 2 hours and find every little nugget of information, so to speak, that we can find about it.
Is there an uncensored picture of the turd is what I'm really wondering.
If there's a pixelated one, there is an uncensored one out there somewhere.
So a quest for a different episode. So this is fucking... This is fucking Greatest Scams Volume 1. I want you guys to know something about the world. And maybe you guys are wise to this, maybe not. Probably not. You guys are pretty naive people.
Scammers, I found it. Oh, I'm sorry.
Fucking everywhere. TJ, no, look, man.
My God. No, why did I do this?
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Hold on. Wait a minute. Sorry, Scotty. I'm sorry.
Don't do it, TJ.
Oh God, I found it too.
Oh my God, it's worse than I thought. Oh my God, no. No.
See the uncensored version. Oh, we have to.
I don't think we can see it. I don't think we can put it on YouTube.
We can do it, man.
I don't think we can. Oh my God, it's gross. It's so gross, dude.
Hey, this is a video for this. Let's see the turd.
I don't think we should. All right. I mean, if you really want to.
I mean, look, TJ, you brought us to this point.
Oh God, it's gotten like multicolors.
What the fuck, dude?
Oh man.
What the fuck?
What is she eating? What the fuck? They don't even look like a human turd.
What is this, dude?
That's not even properly a turd.
What is it? Dude, I don't know what the fuck this is, man. Like,
dude, why does it have like a big fucking like chunk of it that's a total different color?
I don't know. There's like coffee stains around it and stuff. Oh man.
What the fuck, dude?
Oh man.
Can never be unseen.
Why did you do this, Paul? Oh no.
Oh my God, dude. I was that close to puking.
Oh man. That turd is horrible.
You know what, Paul? You got what you fucking wanted, buddy. You got what you wanted.
I got what I deserved.
You got what you fucking turd.
Oh God, no, man.
You want a fucking turd, Paul? You wanted the Amber Heard turd? Now you fucking got it.
When I saw the pixelated one, I just imagined like a nice, orderly log of shit, you know? And
no, it was like total butt hash.
It was a weird, like grassy, horrible fucking ball of mucusy brownness.
It was total butt hash, dude.
Oh man, fuck that.
Shit like that, dude. Like, what the fuck? Like maybe celebrities are demons or something. I don't fucking know.
She sits like a horse or like a cow and shit.
She must have like a super plant-based diet or something. I don't know. Because no, there'd be fiber in that. And that would have led to a fucking nice, orderly, brick-like turd.
If you eat a vegan diet, TJ, like, you will fucking shit. Trust me. Like, when I had a fucking vegan diet, dude, like, my turds were like fucking huge. Like, so I don't know.
It looked like the goddamn turd of someone who eats nothing but fucking grass. That's what it looks like. It looks like the turd of a grazing animal. Whatever. Okay. Scams. Well, let's forget about this. Let's just put the turd behind us and never fucking speak of this again.
I don't know how you can fucking put the turd behind you. But...
You can't put the turd back in Amber Heard's ass, TJ.
It's done. I mean, like, I can't unsee that site. I can't. No.
You can't unmake a sausage, TJ. You know what I mean?
I know. Yeah, it's horrible.
All right, guys, this episode's fucking long enough anyway. So, you guys have any final thoughts or words on the
turd? Okay, yeah. Let me just say this. Johnny Depp.
The turd of heard.
Johnny Depp. Whatever amount you're suing the Sun for, I hope you get it. I hope that you get whatever you want out of life, Johnny. Like. I haven't been too impressed with your movies lately, but now that I know you had to deal with that turd, I can see like why. Like you ever notice like in all Johnny Depp's most recent movies, there's like a fucking listlessness and like an existential despair in his eyes and shit. I know why now. It's because he walked in on that, you know.
Obviously,
and now I sympathize, and yeah. I mean, I guess I already kind of sympathized, but now it's like I'm all in on Team Johnny. I don't care. You know, if it comes out that he did punch her in the face a few times, like, whatever. She laid a turd in the bed, you know? So.
Well, there's a lot of shit you do. A lot of shit you can put up with. But literal shit, can't put up with it.
Right. I mean, just come on. Ugh. That's disgusting.
Paul, do you have anything to...
Yeah, Paul, do you have any last words? I'm done. I've said my piece.
Paul, do you have anything to drop on us?
One last statement.
Fart!
That's it. That's all I have to say on the subject.
All right. Scams.
Okay, well, this episode will now be Amber Heard's turd and greatest scams.
Greatest scams. Amber, just call it Amber Turd and Scams or whatever the fuck.
I'm sorry, I'm dying.
I'm fucking dying, dude.
Oh my fucking god, dude!
Turd was the most fun thing I've ever seen.
What the fuck, man?
It's like Holocaust, 9/11.
The turd.
Turd.
The
It's like number 3 on the list.
Oh fuck!
It was worse than like one man, one jar.
Yeah.
It was worse than 2 girls, 1 cup. Dude, it's just the worst, man. Can you imagine if the shit they were eating in 2 girls, 1 cup was Amber Heard shit? Would have been, oh, God. Times grosser, dude.
It would have been unwatchable. No one would have been able to sit through it.
Oh, fuck.
All right. Yeah, we're done. We're done.
God, that's it. That's the last of this. We're going to talk about
this. From this point on, we're going to pinch off the turd discussion.
That's all, folks.
We're gonna squeeze our turd cutter closed and pinch the turd off.
Pinch it.
Leave the turd on the bed where it belongs and just proceed forth. Never shall any of us be the same, but you know.
I don't think anyone watching this episode will be the fucking same, dude. Are you kidding me?
I really don't think we should. I don't think we should show the uncensored turd in the fucking episode.
I totally disagree.
I don't think we can. I think that there's like
people have to see it.
I'd rather be censored by YouTube.
Like there's rules. I don't know. Whatever. Okay.
Look, this is in public interest, TJ. We're reporting on a story for public interest.
Yeah, this is not just any turd. This is Amber Heard's turd.
This is a famous turd.
Look, if Donald Trump laid out a massive fucking deuce, and I was like, "Whoa!"
There are turds.
I would cover it.
There are turds, and then there are turds of public interest, and this is clearly a turd of public interest.
It is.
Turd came out of Amber Heard's ass that was laid on Johnny Depp's bed. How more fucking public interest does it get?
I guess you're right, man. I don't know.
I think it's like reached the pinnacle of what a turd can do. I don't think you can go much higher than that.
The highest profile turd in years. I can't remember a turd that's had this.
Here's the turd hitting up the clubs or leaving the Ivy restaurant in LA. Oh, look at
the paparazzi start following the turd around. Okay, all right. That is it. That's all I have to say about the turd.
Okay.
Scams.
Dude, Amber Heard, it should have been Amber fucking Heard should have been the fucking scammer, dude, apparently.
Jesus.
Okay. TJ, do you know what a scam is? Not turd, by the way.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. I'm not even gonna. We're done with. Well, you know. Whatever.
All right,
I don't know.
just making sure, man.
I see you got a definition up. Just read the damn definition, man.
No, TJ, I'm not going to do it, man. I want to hear what your definition of scam is.
TJ definitely knows this.
I mean, a scam is when you trick some dumb fucking rube into giving you money or something else of value for basically nothing in return.
It's a fraudulent or deceptive act or operation. See, like you're talking about like the con artist. Like, hey, you know what? I have some fucking prime oceanfront real estate to sell you in Arizona. That kind of bullshit. Or here we have it as a scammer. One who does everything in his or her power to steal from another, usually by means of trickery, deceit, and force. With the accessibility and anonymity, ugh, that word, that the internet provides, scammers have become increasingly prevalent in modern times, usually driven by personal greed or even outright amusement. My favorite kind of scammer.
Well, the reason you can get that word is because anonymosity is not a fucking word. It's anonymity.
Yeah, that's why I was really confused. I was like, is that even a fucking word? Usually driven by personal greed, outright amusement. They are unhindered by sympathy or morals. Well, that's actually not even true. Everywhere on eBay, that's totally fucking true. Diablo 2, fuck yeah, that's true. I mean, any online gaming. Paul's famously told his stories.
Oh, yeah.
About scamming people.
Video game scammer for sure, dude.
And, maybe you can get that at the end of the episode, because I think those are some great stories if people haven't heard them. So this is actually crazy. How much do you guys think scams cost the world in terms of dollars?
I mean, they don't cost the world anything, because it's not like the money is vanishing. It's just going from the hands of a rube idiot into the hands of an intelligent
How much it
scammer.
costs individuals, organizations, and governments?
I don't know.
It's got to be in the billions. Like,
yeah, I
I'd
mean,
say
like it's definitely like. Oh, go ahead, Paul.
I'd say it's like 100 billion at least.
Yeah, I'm gonna say. I mean, I don't know how they even would arrive at the number, but yeah, I guess it's just an estimate. I'd say I don't know, $250 billion.
So trillions of dollars each year in estimated losses, and many victims also endure depression and ill health. There is no other crime, in fact, that affects so many people from almost all ages, backgrounds, and geographical locations. So basically, where there's people, there's fucking scams.
Awesome.
I figured you guys might want to view some scammers in their natural habitat, how the scammer lives its miserable little life.
It's dark and horrible existence.
Yep. All except the little guy. But this guy on top is TJ. Paul, who looks drunk, but is actually not drunk.
Yeah, just another scam.
Just sweaty.
You can see he's holding that water. I mean, like, you think you got drunk on that water? No.
Yeah. And then this other dude down there, I can't identify who that is, but probably not a scammer. Probably just a person that got mixed up with.
And Peter, the dude in the middle, is also a scammer because.
Oh, shit, is he?
Yeah. Because, you
know,
he
wasn't, dude, but he is a scammer.
He claims to be. Let me tell you something about Peter. You know, he's presented himself as this little person or midget or whatever term you want to use, but I've seen him in private. Dude's like 6'10".
Yeah, he's on his knees in this picture.
Yeah, you know, he's really good at fucking making out like he's some kind of midget or something, but he ain't. He ain't.
Whoa! So he's a midget scammer.
Well, he's a scam midget.
Oh man, it's kind of unfortunate.
A scam midget, if you will.
Because, TJ, tonight, I really even hate to read this now. We will learn that scams come in all shapes and sizes. I kind of feel bad now. And sometimes from the places we least expect it, TJ. Oh, trying to fucking switch tabs. The idea what this is, TJ? You in the know?
Is that the Swedish fish? The royal Swedish fish?
This is actually considered like kind of like a logo or it's called a memorial for the South Sea Company. And this is the South Sea Company bubble of 1720. You know how bubbles are, guys. They're really great. They happen sometimes. And this is one of the famous ones. So in 1720, the whole of England became involved in what has since become known as the South Sea Bubble. So you guys are like this. The South Sea Company was conceived initially as a vehicle for consolidating and servicing the national debt of the United Kingdom. As part of the scheme, it was awarded a royal monopoly on trade with South America. Just one major problem with that. The fact that basically their main rival at the time, England's main rival at the time, was Spain. And Spain and Portugal controlled virtually all of South America. Kind of a problem, but whatever. But if they do get it, they have a monopoly. That's great, right? So despite the lack of a potential trading partner, the company advertised itself as the greatest thing pretty much ever. It's like, oh, look, we're going to do all this stuff. We have a monopoly. We're going to make all this fucking money for everyone. This corporation is just going to be going crazy. So politicians and public figures alike started fucking buying up tons of shares. So this becomes a hot thing. Like everyone wants to have shares of this company. In some cases, borrowing the money to buy more shares using previous, tranches as security. Everyone wanted a piece of the action. So everyone basically was like, they're doing anything they can to buy more shares. So just akin to like, think about 2017, people buying Bitcoin. Like we read stories at the time about people like mortgaging their house. Like, I've got to buy more Bitcoin. I've got to buy more. And then, of course, those people losing everything when the price inevitably crashes. And, hey, you might think, smart people can see through scams, right? They're going to know, hey, that's a fucking scam. So I don't need to worry about, I'm not concerned about that. What about this guy? You guys know who this is?
Frederick von Heisenberg.
Frederick von Heisenberg, huh?
Yep.
You guys don't know who this is, really?
I feel like I recognize this dude. Goddamn.
This is Isaac Newton.
Jefferson?
No,
it's Isaac Newton. Okay, yeah.
Isaac Newton. Oh.
Isaac Newton.
Smart dude, right? I mean, like,
I don't recognize him unless he's sitting under an apple tree.
Yeah, put him under an apple tree, god damn it. Put that son of a bitch under an apple tree right now.
So here's an interesting little anecdote about his investment in the company. So back in the spring of 1720, Sir Isaac Newton owned shares in the South Sea Company, the hottest stock in England. Sensing that the market was getting out of hand, the great physicist muttered that he could, quote, he could calculate the motions of heavenly bodies, but not the madness of people.
Sounds about right.
So let me show you a nice little chart here of his investment. Yeah, ooh. So he gets out of the market. So Newton dumped his South Sea shares, pocketing 100% profit, totaling £7,000. And mind you, this is the 17th century, so that's a fucking fortune. But just months later, swept up in the wild enthusiasm of the market, Newton jumped back in at a much higher price and lost £20,000, or more than $3 million in 2002-2003's money. For the rest of his life, that's obviously, who knows if he actually said this, he forbid anyone to speak the word South Sea in his presence. And you can see this.
I love the story of the chart. He's like, he puts a little money in, it goes up, he leaves. He's like, yeah, okay. But his friends who stayed in got super rich, and he's like, fuck, man. And so he re-enters. He's like, yeah. And it goes up for a minute, and everything seems like it's going good. And then, bam, it just crashes down, and he fucking leaves fucking broke.
What's crazy is he almost leaves in basically the same position he starts in when he invested a little bit. So,
yeah.
But he could have fucking been 7,000. I mean, like, back in the day, that didn't sound like a lot of money to us, but that's like a fucking fortune back then. People did not have just 7,000 fucking pounds lying around. But yeah, that's how it goes sometimes.
This is not Isaac Newton's only fucking instance of dumb shit, though. Like, he also got fucking super involved in like alchemy and shit. He's like, I can transmute lead into gold. It's like, and this was like after alchemy was already sort of like a joke science.
Maybe he could.
And the fact that he wrote a lot of apologetics, and he was a fucking
Isaac Newton was a dumb shit across the board, so whatever.
Maybe he could turn lead into fucking gold, TJ. You don't know.
That is true.
I'm pretty sure if he would have been able to do that, he wouldn't have invested in fucking South Sea Company or whatever the fuck. Maybe that was why he did it, though. Maybe he's trying to like recoup his losses.
How do you think he got the money to invest in the first place, TJ?
Oh, okay.
By letting apples hit him in the head and writing papers. Come on.
Okay.
He made let it go.
It's important to note that the South Sea venture was itself a failure of character from its inception. Like we talked about before, the company had secured exclusive monopoly on trade with South America. Much of that trade involved selling slaves. Oh, so they're involved in slavery as well. Sounds like some great guys. It's also the case that the company artificially inflated its stock prices. Well, of course, you have to pump up the stock. Included with several MPs in insider trading schemes. And then you guys will love this. Then Parliament passed the so-called Bubble Act of 1720, presumably passed to prevent crashes like the one that devastated Newton. But actually, they turned out to be a corporate giveaway. The terms of the act have been dictated by the South Sea Company in order to prevent other companies from poaching their investors.
Wow, it's the same old scam that they're pulling today.
I mean, you have to love it.
The reaction to the crash caused by their stupid greed and malfeasance is a giant corporate giveaway funded by the taxpayers.
I mean, I love how they use the law. They basically passed a law where it's like, we're going to stop this. And it's actually like, no, we're just going to kill the competition. You have to love it. Although these circumstances are well known to economic historians, they rarely make their way into commentary on Newton's great laws. So people were saying, like, I mean, anyone could have looked at this and kind of seen that, like, this is a fucking sham. And it wasn't just like, oh, poor Isaac Newton. He had no idea. Like, everyone was kind of just getting caught up. Like I said, akin now to Bitcoin. Just get rich quick. So in 1720, in return for a loan of £7 million to finance the war against France, the House of Lords passed the South Sea Bill, which allowed the South Sea Company monopoly. We already talked about that. The company underwrote the English national debt, which stood at £30 million, on a promise of 5% interest from the government. So upon that signing that deal, shares immediately rose to 10 times their value. Speculation ran wild, and all sorts of companies, which were just totally fraudulent, just overly optimistic, or just insane, were formed and launched because of this. For one example, so there's a few examples actually. One company was floated to buy the Irish bogs. Going to buy the bogs of Ireland.
Nice, dude. Some good land.
Another to manufacture a gun to fire square cannonballs. So, I mean, of course, who doesn't want a square cannonball?
It's not really a cannonball at that point, is it? It's like a cannon cube at that point.
I suppose you're right. The most ridiculous one was
once it's no longer round, it's not a ball.
You ain't got to convince me. But this is my favorite one. For carrying on an undertaking of great advantage, but no one to know what it is. Unbelievably, £2,000 was invested into that. So literally just like a nothing business.
Secret. We're not going to tell you what we're doing, but we're doing some great stuff over here. Cool. Let's start one of those.
Like the lottery of investing. Maybe the company will do something great.
The Cool Shit Soon Company.
The country went wild. Stocks increased in all these and other sort of, crazy schemes, and huge fortunes were made. As we see Newton, at that point, he had pocketed. He'd made 100% return. But of course, like all of these things like this, what goes up must come down. Actually, what's featured, the image we're looking at here is kind of like it seems like a gambling wheel. Everyone's like, ooh, got to make that money. But of course, the bubble had to fucking pop. That's the whole thing of a bubble. It doesn't go on forever. So the stocks crashed and people all over the country lost all their money. Porters and ladies' maids who had bought their own carriages became destitute overnight. The clergy, bishops, and gentry lost their life savings. The whole country suffered a catastrophic loss of money and property. Suicides became a daily occurrence. The gullible mob, whose innate greed had lain behind the mass hysteria for wealth, demanded vengeance. The Postmaster General took poison, and his son, who was Secretary of State, avoided disaster by fortuitously contracting smallpox and dying. I mean, it was not a good time for good. So, of course, the South Sea Company directors were arrested. Their estates forfeited. Too bad. But some economists have a different view. Economists, instead of saying, hey, this is a bubble, tend to blame abstractions for economic events like the South Sea bubble. Or they blame the overreaching profit-seeking of investors, and maybe for good reason. The other explanations haunt the margins, the inherently exploitive nature of most forms of corporate capitalism, and the corruption and collusion between the state and private enterprise that inhibits fair competition and makes it impossible for investors to evaluate the situation transparently. For all his scientific and mathematical genius, Isaac Newton was no exception. He was just as subject to irrational greed as the next investor and to the predatory machinations of market forces.
Scammed.
I mean, yeah.
Headed fucking moron. Stupid fucking dope sitting under an apple tree got scammed out of all his fucking money. Get wrecked, you dumb apple fucking brained piece of fucking garbage, Isaac Newton. Wig wearing fucking bump on the head bumpkin sitting underneath an apple tree. Oh, everything that goes up must come down. What a brilliant contribution you made to fucking science, you fucking empty-headed fuckwit.
What about helium balloons, huh? What about helium balloons, Isaac Newton?
Yeah, they go up and they never come down. What about rocket shit?
Oh, shit.
What about satellites, Isaac Newton? Get fucking wrecked, Isaac Newton. What about the Voyager satellite, Isaac Newton, that's fucking now outside the fucking solar system?
Yeah, Isaac Newton ain't nothing but a fucking trifling ass bitch.
He himself was that's a 2-bit scammer himself. Gravity. What a bunch of hokum. What a bunch of fucking woo-woo.
Gravity.
Now, I'll be shocked if you guys can't tell me who this is.
That's Jim Baker, right?
Jim and Tammy Faye Baker.
That's right.
He looks so
now
different
we're moving
now.
on to religious scammers.
The best kind.
There's no shortage of these.
Oh, yeah. The best bullshit story of all time, as George Carlin said.
So on March 17th, 1987, hey, the year I was born, Jim Baker resigned in disgrace from PTL after his, this is shocking, guys, his December 1980 sexual encounter with Jessica Hahn in a Florida hotel room became public. Not old Jim. Anyone but Jim say it ain't so.
He'd never do such a thing.
So according to Hahn, on the afternoon of December 6, 1980, when she was a 21-year-old church secretary, she was drugged and raped by Baker and another preacher, John Wesley Fletcher, for about 15 minutes.
So it wasn't a sexual encounter then. It was a sexual fucking crime.
Well, I did this for context because, of course, Baker in his 1987 book, I Was Wrong, Baker disputed Hahn's account, claiming that he was, quote, set up and the sex was consensual.
Oh, got it.
Of course, he claims otherwise. Naturally, he does. I mean, who wanted to admit to being a rapist? And he even later honestly described the account as she was a professional who knew all the tricks of the trade. So he tried to take even a step further of saying she was a prostitute. She actually did end up posing for Playboy as well. This is a big deal. Hugh Hefner jumped on this. He was like, "Oh, okay."
Damn. Whew.
I guess we see why Jim Baker did what he did.
I gotta go turn down my air conditioning. It's getting a little warm in here. Oh. Lordy. Looks like she's got two Peters and a headlock there, dude.
Yeah, I think we saw what Jim saw on her. So this 1987 scandal, initially was about sex. It was a sex scandal. It was like, oh shit, whole gym was doing bad things. And Tammy Faye, by the way,
Tammy Faye just looked like she has like the black soulless eyes of a demon in this fucking picture.
It's because she wore like 18 pounds of eye makeup.
It's like, goddamn, too much, girl.
What's great is I actually know the story of the encounter from what I read. 'Cause actually, she did Jessica Hahn did an interview on Larry King, and basically what it amounts to is like, he's like, you need to help. Look, do you want to help the shepherd? You got to help the shepherd. You know, like, so basically, like, it's like for divine reasons you must sleep with me. And then, of course, like, she claims that he date raped her. Like, she drink this. And then, of course, they both go to town on her.
Slipped her a Cosby.
Yeah, so it was believed that he pulled the Cosby on her. Of course, he says, you know, she was a prostitute and seduced him and was like used basically witchcraft and magic on him. And then I
wonder which one of these stories is true.
And he has another reason. Well, actually, it's how we end his section, but you guys will hear that because Right Wing Watch actually has a clip of that. So the 87 scandal was initially about sex, but soon turned to money after discovering that PTL had paid Hahn and her representatives $265,000 in hush money. And by the way, we all know where that money came from. Donations from viewers like you.
Of course.
So between 1984 and 1987, PTL supporters paid. I'm going to see if you guys can get this number. How much do you think these people paid? And this is what you got. I'll tell you what you got. At Baker's Heritage USA theme park, the people would put up $1,000 partnerships, and they would get 3 nights a year of lodging at Heritage USA.
So I know that at this time, Jim Baker was fucking ultra rich. He and Baker were the biggest evangelicals in the country at this time.
Oh, yeah.
They had a huge TV show that was blasted out on network TV. They had radio shows. Scotty mentioned, and I actually knew they had a theme park.
Oh, yeah.
They had multiple like hotel properties and resort properties and shit that they maintained.
They were actually the number, I think, 3 theme park in America.
So I would guess that they were making in like this is like 80s money.
80s money.
I would guess that they were making like 20 million, 15 million, something like that.
Okay. TJ, what about you? Between 1984 and 1987. So Paul, we'll bump yours up to about 60 million.
Sure.
So between 1984 and 1987?
Yep. And this is just for lifetime partnerships for their theme park. It's not anything else they did.
So just in lifetime partnerships for their theme park.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because this figure,
I don't know. How much were the lifetime partnerships? $1,000.
$1,000 a pop.
$1,000, and you got, and the whole gimmick was for 3 nights a year you had to stay at Heritage USA at one of their hotels.
Okay. I'm gonna say 80 million.
The number is $158 million.
Jesus.
Damn. Raked it in hand over fist, dude.
So, but the problem is they just had accommodations for only 25,000 vacationers. Baker oversold an additional 43,000 memberships, diverting $3.7 million to his own personal uses. According to Miller, and this is Jerry Miller, the U.S. Assistant Attorney who tried him, he basically liked to cheat people out of their money and had a total disdain for those around him. Like, so if he wasn't on camera scalping people or convincing people to give money, you know, basically evangelicals, because, you know, they're going to help the ministry or plant the seed or whatever fucking his scam was that week. Just contemptuous. Like, these fucking people are rubes, they're morons, they're idiots, and they basically deserve everything they're fucking getting. So after a 16-month federal grand jury probe, Baker was indicted in 1988 on 8 counts of mail fraud, 15 counts of wire fraud, and 1 count of conspiracy. Poor old Jimmy. Getting arrested. I love this picture. It's such a beautiful sight, dude.
Oh boy.
Poor Jimmy boy.
And he had an interesting trial.
Don't worry,
too.
Jimmy. You'll come back with bonus buckets.
He had a bit of a crazy trial. So George Davis, defending Baker, his defense attorney, said that Baker admitted to the facts of the case, but denied any wrongdoing. He did it.
I did it, but there wasn't nothing wrong about it.
Yeah. You know, I love that argument. I did it, but it's okay. He was, argued Davis, a creative religious genius. So it was just a genius. A genius blubbering on his way to jail. When Baker's former personal assistant, David Taggart, himself previously convicted of fraud, took the stand, he cataloged Baker's lavish lifestyle. Condominiums, houses, mink coats, diamonds, 2 Rolls Royces, and a Mercedes, and of course, all paid out of donations.
Of course.
Further extravagance came from Steve Nelson, an ex-PTL vice president, who also spoke of warning Baker about the overbooked vacation deals. I told him I thought we had some big-time problems. I specifically said, someone can go to jail for this. He told me not to worry. There's always room at the inn. All right. So Jim's answer to these problems, the fact he was defrauding all those people, there's no way if they all claim these things, he could accommodate them, was there's always room at the inn.
God will provide. We've provided the loaf and the single fish, and he will multiply it into enough rooms to accommodate double the amount of people that are actually accommodatable at our
Maybe
site.
he should have actually made that argument, you know?
You're muted, TJ.
Oh, sorry. Maybe he should have actually made that argument.
Yeah. God shall take the loaf and the fish and make it enough to feed as many mouths as we can take.
Yeah, just have him be like, look, I am a man of God, and I felt that God was going to, see to it that this was all going to work out somehow, and I put my trust in him.
By faith are not all things possible, TJ.
Yeah, and if you arrest me for this, then you are, you're fucking.
I'm pretty sure his defense, whatever it was heavily tinged with religious liberty arguments.
Probably so.
So this is actually a crazy thing. So seconds after giving his testimony, Nelson collapsed in court. At the behest of his lawyer, Baker prayed gently at Nelson's side while paramedics administered treatment. The next day, however, it was Baker's turn to require medical attention. He was found beneath a desk in his lawyer's office, huddled in a fetal position, apparently hallucinating.
Wow.
Please don't do this to me, he sobbed, as he was led away in shackles for psychiatric evaluation.
So I have a feeling this was a little bit of theatrics on the part of old Jimmy boy here.
Poor Jimmy.
He got about a week break from the trial. He was evaluated.
Poor Bimmy.
Trial. And for once, the justice system in this country was just. In 1989, after a 5-week trial, which began on August 28th in Charlotte, North Carolina, a jury found him guilty on all 24 counts. Judge Robert Daniel Potter sentenced Baker to 45 years in federal prison and imposed a $500,000 fine. You guys may be wondering, like, damn, we've seen Jim Baker just a few years ago doing shows. Like, what the fuck gives?
Well, made parole,
and you'll love this. The United States Court of Appeals for the Fourth Circuit upheld Baker's conviction on the fraud and conspiracy charges. So they said, yep, we actually uphold it. He's definitely guilty. But they voided Baker's 45-year sentence and $500,000 fine and ordered a new sentencing hearing on February 1991. The court ordered that Potter's sentencing statement about Baker, that those of us who do have a religion are sick of being saps for money-grubbing preachers and priests, was evidence that the judge injected his religious beliefs into Baker's sentence.
Yeah.
Poor Baker.
Got him.
A sentence reduction hearing was held on November 16th, 1992, and Baker's sentence was reduced to 8 years. In August 1993, he was transferred to a minimum security prison in Jessup, Georgia, basically like a fucking federal prison camp. And Baker was paroled in 1994 after serving 5 years of his sentence. Wow. Yeah. 5 fucking years.
Definitely served, dude. I got friends in high places. Yep. I guess it pays to be rich.
Yeah, here's Baker going to the trial and the fucking circus around that. And here's Jim Baker. So he's now going to tell us the real reason he was put in prison.
Of course.
You guys ready?
Yep.
President of the United States, that they hired a person who I know very well. I know all about it. I know this person very, very well. They hired him to defame Pat Robertson, to look and find everything they could possibly find in his past. And they could find out before he got married and before he was saved, he probably had went out and dated a girl and maybe had love. And I don't even know if it was sex. You know what I mean? But that's all the dirt they could find on him. I've never told this before. But the reason many of them wanted to put me in prison, they were so afraid that I would endorse Pat Robertson, and they knew that we had stood with Ronald Reagan and others and helped elect people. And they wanted me out of the picture.
That's what it was, dude.
Obviously.
It wasn't the whole trial.
No.
That proved his reasonable guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. And then an appeals court that upheld his guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. It was the fact that he would have endorsed Pat Robertson and he would have become president.
They were terrified that Pat Robertson was going to be the president.
I mean, who wouldn't be terrified of that, actually?
He had love, too. Did you hear that? Pat Robertson may have had love.
He had some love. And all these guys have had love. They don't fucking... I mean, that's why Jim Baker even got in his mess in the first place.
Yeah, that's not Tammy Faye he's sitting next to, is it? No,
Tammy Faye died in 2007. That's Lori Baker.
That's Lori Baker, yeah.
Yeah,
his new Tammy Faye.
Yeah, his basically new whatever Jim is saying. Actually, on news on his front, Jim Baker actually recently had a stroke. Did not kill him though. Still alive.
Oh, poor Jimmy.
Still kicking.
Knowing him, he won't even be affected. And how could you tell anyways? No, I saved the best one for last. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this fucking guy and this fucking company that ran an amazing scam. Fucking Crazy Eddie.
Crazy Eddie.
It's Crazy Eddie.
No, I never heard of this motherfucker, but he sounds awesome.
This actually is not Crazy Eddie, but this is the guy that does the commercials.
Well, whatever. It says Crazy Eddie above him, so.
So for anyone living in the New York metropolitan area throughout the 1970s, 80s, Crazy Eddie was inescapable. It was a chain of electronics stores that eventually spread to 43 locations across 4 states. And the business bombarded consumers with print, television, and radio ads that guaranteed name brand products at major discounts. So actually, I pulled a little compilation of commercials here. Take a look at.
And everything in stereo equipment. Get it all now during Crazy Eddie's greatest stereo sale ever. Crazy Eddie, his prices are insane. Get those earmuffs off and listen to this. Crazy Eddie's Christmas blowout blitz is going on now with the lowest sale prices ever on receivers, speakers, turntables, compact display, or stereo rack systems, anything and everything in audio equipment. Remember, we are not undersold. We will not be undersold. We cannot be undersold, and we mean it. You don't have to ski cross country to get the lowest sale prices on audio equipment because Crazy Eddie's Christmas audio blowout blitz is going on now at a Crazy Eddie superstore near you. Crazy Eddie, his prices are... Edison came up with lots of great ideas, but nothing as great as a new Crazy Eddie Edison, New Jersey Superstore. Yes, Crazy Eddie's Edison, New Jersey grand opening is going on right now through Sunday. Thousands of free Crazy Eddie T-shirts and baseball caps, and all great Crazy Eddie Superstores are celebrating during Crazy Eddie's grand opening blowout blitz. So come on down to Edison, New Jersey. Thousands of free Crazy Eddie T-shirts and baseball caps. Let Crazy Eddie light up your life with prices that are insane.
I dig it.
So that was
I like Crazy Eddie, man. I don't know. I guess that's not Crazy Eddie there, but I like this whole Crazy Eddie sales pitch, man. His prices are fucking insane. This dude has high energy. You know, he's out there. He's fucking pimping this fucking shit. So what's the crime here? Trying to cut people a fucking good deal on some fucking speakers and shit?
Oh, you're going to learn about it. It's a very intricate scam, believe it or not.
I love it.
So disc jockey Jerry Carroll taped more than 7,500 of the radio and television spots as a hyper salesman who promised that Crazy Eddie's prices were insane.
Were his prices insane?
What's that?
Were his prices insane?
Oh, TJ, they were. What were they, TJ?
Insane.
Oh, no, TJ, what were they?
Insane?
TJ.
What were they? They fucking said they were insane.
They were insane.
Yeah. That's what I said. I said insane.
No, you didn't say it right.
I said
At one point, TJ, the stores had greater name recognition among New Yorkers than Ed Koch, who at the time was the mayor of New York City.
Well, yeah, because the mayor ain't on your fucking TV 24/7 screaming about how he's the mayor.
I'm the fucking mayor. I'm the mayor. Look at me, mayor of New York. Ed Koch here. I'm the mayor. Look at me.
If I was ever the mayor of someplace, I would be.
That's what you do, Paul. You just be like, I'm Crazy Paul, mayor of the town.
Yep. Remember me? I'm doing stuff for the town. I'm your mayor.
Hope you don't drown.
So here is Jerry Carroll, the guy that did commercials with Crazy Eddie Antar, who was the actual founder of Crazy Eddie's. So he's the grandson of Syrian immigrants who started a modest stereo shop in Brooklyn and parlayed it into a retail empire, grossing more than $350 million annually. In addition to changing how electronics retailers advertised, I mean, he pushed prices above all else. Antar also paid his employees off the books. Failed to report cash purchases. I mean, hey, look, it was cash. Who can say how much we made? Kept the sales tax, of course. I mean, he needed that money too. And later, he migrated to $145 million in security fraud when his cousin, Sam Antar, we're about to see here, this guy, basically graduated from college as a certified public accountant. So basically, this guy went to college to become a criminal. The whole purpose of the business was to commit premeditated fraud, said Sam. My family put me through college to help me commit more sophisticated fraud in the future. I was trained to be a criminal.
Cool.
The only reason he was sent to school was to be like, look, you need to learn the ins and outs of accounting so we can really scam the system.
That's awesome, dude. He's just like, yeah. You need an education so you could scam better.
I don't buy this for a fucking second, dude. These people were just Syrian immigrants who didn't know the laws. They were just trying to make a buck
with crazy deals. Crazy
deals, and nobody and the big conglomerate stores didn't like the little guy, an immigrant no less, coming in and cutting them, short.
Yeah.
So they trumped up this nonsense.
Well, we'll get into it. So initially, excuse me, I skipped a part. So TJ, you'll like this. A high school dropout at the age of 16, Eddie Antar wasted no time exploiting the burgeoning world of consumer electronics. This was in the late 1960s, and smaller, more portable transistors were about to usher in a new wave of products that would make Japanese brands like Sony and Panasonic household names. Before long, video game systems, VCRs, and camcorders would expand the market. So he just sees an opportunity. Like, wait, all this shit's getting big. I need to jump in on this, start making some money off this shit. So initially, Eddie sold televisions from a small stand at the Port Authority, grabbing attention by talking fast, and eventually wearing customers down. People they said about him he was a sales guy, like he was like Fonzie. Sam says he was very charismatic, very smart. And the logic was you steal more with a smile than you do with a gun. So it was like he wanted to be your buddy. He wanted to get you in. He wanted you to buy his shit. And he was actually pretty good at it, as we're going to see here. So by 1970, Eddie had learned from his failure of his first store, a tiny spot near Coney Island Avenue in Brooklyn, dubbed Sights and Sounds ERS, So he got a better location, and he got some partners. He basically got a location with his father, his cousin Sam, and his cousin. So it's basically him and his cousins and his dad. And actually, I found out where the crazy thing came from. Is according to this, the crazy adjective came from a customer who took note of Eddie's salesmanship practices. And some of the things he did in the store, he'd playfully bar patrons from leaving empty-handed. He would take their shoes as deposits for stereos. He even promised discounts to people who braved winter blizzards. So, I mean, this guy's going to do anything to make the fucking sale.
You would take their shoes as deposits for stereos?
Yeah, dude.
Yes.
You know.
Word spread of Eddie's theatrical approach. More importantly, people began to realize he was gleefully ignoring federal guidelines concerning pricing.
Fuck federal guidelines concerning pricing. Who gives a shit?
So basically, there were fair trade laws in place at the time. That meant that manufacturers could insist on one standard retail price for all retailers. So the manufacturer really has power and says, like, look, you have to sell it for this. So in theory, this meant, of course, consumers would always get the, quote, best deal, no matter where they shop.
But Crazy Eddie said,
didn't
fuck
give a
that,
shit.
and gave that shit away for fucking cheaper than that. Because he's
Yeah,
crazy.
Eddie realized, oh, go ahead.
I just say he's crazy.
Well, Eddie realized that, like, the only way he can compete, it's like, look, the only way I can compete with these larger companies, they have huge budgets, they have name recognition, they have brand recognition. Well, so you had to have lower prices. So then when he started doing this, manufacturers actually started refusing to even sell to him. You have to get it from gray market suppliers, you know, with items intended for overseas sales or other businesses that had too much.
Listen, my fucking my stereos just fell off a truck. You know what I mean? They fell off a fucking truck. Was he selling stolen stereos and shit?
Interestingly enough, they said no. They said this is actually something they brought up. Said stolen goods were a rare source, so they did sometimes use them, but it was rare. The fact being, it was just too risky because if the cops ever came there and looked into it, they'd expose other parts of the scam. So they were just kind of like they were scamming so much they just didn't want to. They didn't want hot shit that was hot.
Now, never mind defrauding the IRS and shit every second of every day, but
yeah, that's okay.
Don't want to bring the cops down on us. You know what I mean?
Well, you can't have that. I mean, come on, you can't have the fucking cops looking around like, hey. Okay, let's go to the next one. Can't fucking just like you mentioned, Paul. The IRS, it's their wet dreams. So how could he afford you? How could fucking Crazy Eddie be crazy? How the fuck could Crazy Eddie have such good prices, like better than fucking big budget box stores like fucking Circuit City or Best Buy or whatever the fuck existed at the time? Like how is he fucking out competing those motherfuckers?
I'm guessing Crazy Eddie wasn't paying his taxes and was passing that savings on to the consumer.
But of course he stole by stealing. As a corrupt private company, they had an advantage. Back then, most customers paid in cash. If we don't disclose the sale, we keep the sales tax. So they're not even so they're just taking the money, not disclosing the sale, of course. And of course, though there's no sales tax, so that money, of course, gives them a cushion to beat out the competition who has to legitimately operate and pay, and of course, add sales tax onto the cost. And of course, the portion they're going to pay as well.
Cool.
Well, excuse me, not the portion they're going to pay. Like when people paid this, like they're charging the people sales tax.
Yeah, they charge you the sales tax, but they ain't actually giving it to the government. They're just pocketing
sorry
it.
if I was unclear on that. So cash revenue was kept under beds, in floorboards, or deposited into Israeli banks.
Oh.
And as Israel will actually come back into play a little bit later in this story. So despite Eddie's covert criminality, his opposition to fair trade practices actually made him a hero in the eyes of consumers. And in 1976, the remaining holdout states repealed the law, forcing manufacturers to sell any retailer who could afford to pay their invoices. So Crazy Eddie was like a fucking, in a way, like a scamming king and fucking hero, dude.
He was like a Robin Hood scammer.
Yeah, steal from the rich and the government and give to the poor at a reasonable price.
Stealing from everybody, but you know, whatever. It meant lower prices.
Well, actually, I'll kind of get into more of, I guess, the theory when we kind of get done with the story. Well, that kind of leveled the playing field a bit. Eddie had another advantage, is that, which of course we saw was his advertising. Though his budget was small, the ad campaign, cooked up by advertising director Larry Weiss, featuring Carol as a maniac discounter, was so memorable that Crazy Eddie's name recognition began to surpass that of Coca-Cola in the tri-state area.
Damn.
So it was just insane. Like, they just came up with a brilliant fucking marketing campaign.
That's going to be a lot of heat, though.
Well, but you know what? That's fine. It doesn't matter. So some local stations stayed on the air overnight simply because Anatar bought an ad all the time. According to Weiss, Eddie's first spot on the radio cost $5, and he also never paid the bill. In true scammer fashion, his first ad he never paid for. So between 1975 and 1984, Crazy Eddie recorded profits in the millions by using register skimming to underreport income. Repair services were billed to manufacturers at 3 times their actual cost. Customers would often be flipped by 1, 2, or 3 salesmen trained in the Crazy Eddie method of coercion. So they had a whole method of how they sold you this shit. You had one person with the customer, then you have the switchover or SO. The second would be the takeover or the TO. If he failed, you call in the third, the NAD, the nail him at the door guy. It wasn't just discounting. We tried to switch the customer to higher margin items. Sony, for example, might be a break-even sale. Crazy Eddie employees would try to convince customers to buy a Sony receiver that they needed. Would try to convince customers buying a Sony receiver that they needed a house brand speakers or subwoofer. Some of this was actually plotted in a language unique to Eddie's work culture. And it says they kind of basically, we spoke a kind of Arabic pig Latin. We had a dictionary that would be passed around. We wanted employees to feel like they were part of a family culture. That culture would soon grow to include securities fraud on a net level never before seen in retail. So actually, I actually was able to find a little fucking. Yep, here it is. Secret language of Crazy Eddie. So they had all these different code words they could use.
Abib, a black person.
Abid, a bow.
A bow, derriere, butt. Why did they need a code word for butt?
Look at that, a bow over there.
I guess. A zob, someone just looking lazy. That's definitely what they had been fucking saying when I walked in. Bagel, the service contract or SC. Baja, commission. BC, be quiet. Biz, breasts. I guess they must have had that so they could like ogle women and talk about the women they were ogling with each other. Bub cause, be quiet, shut up. They had multiples for that, I guess.
I guess the owner referred to as Kelso.
C line, book price or wholesale price. Check line. Dib, idiot. DU, giving something away for free. Drop line, lower the price to the customer. Fee, in stock. G, a girl, woman. Haddle, truck. Hutta, shit. Husho, shoplifter, thief. Jedge, dickhead, asshole.
They had like their own little fucking language they were using in there.
Yeah.
I like lunch. Putting a customer return product back together in a box so it looked new. It can be resold as new.
Sweet.
Oh, fucking Crazy Eddie.
NG just means no good. I love it.
So this is the CPA we talked about earlier. This is in 1980, Sam Antar graduated college, Brosh College of the City of University of New York as a CPA and returned to Crazy Eddie full-time as its chief financial officer. By design, his education was to help the Antar family perpetuate fraud above and beyond skimming the register or selling inflated extended warranties. So in order to do that, it first have to go straight, even if it meant overpaying their income taxes. So they actually had to go legit to scam even greater. So we needed to report a higher profit before getting a higher public basically valuation, Sam says. So from 1980 to 1984, when we went public, that was my job. You legitimize the business in order to commit bigger fraud.
I love it.
That's why I pulled so much about this dude, because this is like, as far as scams, like they took scams to a fucking whole other fucking level.
So before we can get to the next level of scamming, we got to go legit for a minute. It's like, okay, we trust you. We sent you to college to learn this shit.
And make us look even like super legit, the most legit company you could possibly be. So by reporting sales previously conducted under the counter, Crazy Eddie was able to demonstrate growth even when sales were steady. So suddenly, because all the fucking off the book sales,
right,
it suddenly looks like, oh wow, Crazy Eddie is going, like, fucking that's working. They're also able to increase valuation by paying taxes well in excess of what they actually owed. As an example, say we claim to sell $1 million with a 50% tax rate. We pay $500,000 in taxes. If the company is trading at 30 times earnings, we've inflated the value, and it's worth by spending that $500,000.
I see.
So it makes so their earnings on paper. Oh wow, this company's making so much fucking money. And also, Crazy Eddie had another bit of misdirection prepared. At one point, the guy we showed before, Sam, his cousin, was able to secure a job with the company's auditors without them knowing he still worked for the retailer.
That's awesome, dude.
Inside man.
It helps to know the auditor's habits, like only looking at certain stores when conducting inventory checks. By boosting stock in those stores and claiming it was across the board, Crazy Eddie could claim $65 million in product they didn't actually possess. So he could like if he knew they were going to check that store, he could just bring a bunch of product to those stores. I mean, this guy, they were working these auditors because this guy Sam, basically, obviously he had experience with these people and he kind of knew the accounting business. So they would send these auditors would send very inexperienced, low level accountants to do the audits. And he'd have the hot chick that works at the company come flirt with them and say, you guys are hitting it off. Why don't you guys go have lunch on Crazy Eddie's dime? He'd buddy them up like, oh man, it's tough doing the job you're doing. Oh, it's boring. He basically would misdirect them from actually even doing their work. And so he would waste all the time they're supposed to be doing the audit. And then of course they do some midnight rush job and be like, everything's great. All the numbers he gave me is right. Because they didn't want to admit hey, I was just fucking off the entire time. I mean, this scam was like an onion, dude. It's so many fucking different layers.
Man, Crazy Eddie thought of everything. Well, I guess not everything, because we were talking about the fact that it's a scam. So I guess at some point.
Yeah, I know.
I guess at some point he didn't think of anything. He didn't think of the thing that they were going to fucking catch him on. But
so the amorality of the family business made for handsome profits. When Crazy Eddie went public in 1984, the stock shot from $8 a share to $79. And the Antars held much of it. More than $145 million was raised from investors who had no idea Crazy Eddie was misrepresenting his financial profile. We never spoke about right or wrong, Sam says. Just the way we did things. So it was just this is how the business is run. We're being smart. The scam is working. Who gives a shit? Before long, some in the Antar family would speak up about their business practices. When the finger pointing was over, Crazy Eddie would find himself both in exile and owing $120 million in restitution. So the empire collapsed from within.
Damn. Didn't think about that, did you?
Or Crazy Eddie.
Yep, it was just family infighting.
Fucking apocalypto fucking trailer bullshit.
Well, how it is when people have all that money, dude. Money makes people most of us probably have a fucking story about someone who had inheritance or was going to get some money or something, how it just tore a family apart because then people came out of the woodwork or people they thought, oh, my aunt or uncle or whoever loves me. And it's give me the money, you little son of a bitch. And we're talking at the point that the money they were making true wealth. I mean, they were making, with the stock at $79, if they're the majority owners, they're fucking worth over $100 million.
Yeah, they're making money out the ass.
If it had been up to the auditor, Sam says, Crazy Eddie would probably still be in business.
Damn.
They do the equivalent of finding typos in a Word document. They take a small sample and project it onto the financial situation as a whole. The companies they audit are called, quote, clients. That language is important. It should be target. Most fraud, Sam believes, is discovered by whistleblowers, not by accounting firms, who he says employ young and inexperienced employees to navigate complicated financial inspections. He's basically saying, he's look, this auditing bullshit, it's just that. It's bullshit. we were easily able to fucking circumvent the audit at any time. It didn't matter. The employees did not give a shit and basically would just do whatever we fucking told them. Or like you said, they would do like a small fucking sampling that he would already know where the sample is going to be taken from. So if it's like, okay, they're going to hit up this store, then sales of that store are through the roof and merchandise is overflowing.
Yeah. I mean, like, fucking Enron was in cahoots with Arthur Anderson, which at that point was like 100-year-old accounting firm to cook their fucking books and shit.
Oh, yeah. And that was
Anderson is the one that did all their audits and thumbs up all their fucking numbers and like participated in inflating their stock when it was actually falling. So, yeah, you can't really trust auditors.
Oh, no, dude. They have... Well, I mean, why would you? I mean, like they have a best interest in that company and keeping those clients. So, poor crazy Eddie, dude. Book in the books. Actually, here's the rise and fall of Eddie's price of the stock.
That looks exactly like the fucking shit that Isaac Newton invested in.
Yeah, it's the same shit.
It's the same.
What goes up must come down.
Did Isaac Newton invest in this too?
It seems that's kind of how it goes with scams. So,
wanted by U.S. Marshals.
Poor crazy Eddie, man. What could he do?
I don't know.
In 1987, after a steady decline in sales, owing to other mass discount retailers and overeager expansion, the company's stock price dipped. And the Antars found themselves subject to new majority shareholders who were puzzled by imaginary inventory. Once the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission got involved, it was a matter of time before Sam, Eddie, and Eddie's father began vying for the best government deal possible, with their franchise began to close its doors. There's no better motivator than a 20-year prison term, Sam says. He told the government the entire story, from basically the skimming to the stock fraud. I didn't cooperate because I found God. I cooperated to save my ass. So basically, these guys knew the jig was up.
Poor fucking Eddie, dude. What the hell? He revolutionized the damn industry, and this is the thanks he gets.
So, Eddie... go ahead, Paul.
No, I was just backing TJ's sentiment. I feel bad for Eddie.
Yeah, man. He fucking... going. And then, like, all these other discount retailers popped up in his wake and shit, and, you know, none of them got fucking pinched.
They did the same shit. They all made a fat fucking knot of money doing the same shit Eddie was doing, but Eddie was the one that had to take the brunt, dude, because he invented it.
Yeah. Sometimes it's the fucking pioneer that gets fucking pinched, man. And then all the other scammers that follow in their wake just get a free pass.
Well, look, the problem with Eddie is that when Eddie was just scamming saps, you know, no one really gave a shit. Or just scamming the government, no one cared. It was like, whatever. But then Eddie fucking started scamming rich people. And that's a big no-no. It's like, oh, you actually scammed some wealthy people?
You did you pulled the Bernie Madoff.
Yeah, when you fuck with the people that actually have the wealth, that's when they're going to go, oh, I lost $20 million. Well, Eddie Antar is going to fucking prison. So Eddie Antar, who fled to Israel for 2 years following an investigation, was extradited in 1992 and sentenced to 12 and a half years in prison in 1994. When his judge was criticized for bias that led to an overturned conviction in 17 counts, including conspiracy and racketeering, he got 8 years as a part of a plea to avoid a retrial in 1996. Surprisingly, officials were able to retrieve more than $120 million in offshore accounts, which was repaid to investors. Because of his cooperation, Sam received 6 months of house arrest and lost his CPA license.
So he got off lightest of all because he gave the most info.
Well, he cut the best deal. He got fucking 6 months of house arrest and losing his CPA license is a fucking joke.
He ratted that fucking crazy Eddie out is what he did.
Oh yeah, he did. Man, poor fucking crazy Eddie. So this section actually kind of goes over, and this is the last part of the episode. And this one's called "A Con Wrapped in a Swindle Inside a Scam." So these are the things. This is how they actually did the fucking fraud. So the first part was the Panama Pump money laundering scheme.
The Panama Pump.
Cash skimmed from Crazy Eddie before its initial public offering was laundered back to the company after it went public to inflate revenues and reported profits. They also did fraud asset valuations. They overstated inventory assets to inflate reported profits. That's just one of the things they did. They also understated accounts payable to inflate report profits. Accounts payable cutoff fraud. So inventory was received by Crazy Eddie before the end of the accounting period was invoiced by suppliers and reflected as shipped to the company. In the subsequent accounting period, they just had a million different things. Okay, here's another one he did. Crazy Eddie claimed fictitious purchase discounts and trade allowances to understate accounts payable and inflate reported profits. So basically, he inflated the sales of his stores.
He had just tons and tons of little tiny fucking tweaks he was doing to make this scam work.
Then the last one I pulled is Crazy Eddie invoiced certain distributors for merchandise, and it simultaneously received checks dated before the end of the accounting period. The company shipped the merchandise to the distributors and cashed the checks in the subsequent accounting period. So, like, they would know when the quarter's ending. So it'd be like, oh, look, we got a huge shipment, or we just got a huge payment.
Right. They just wait to cash the checks until the end of the month when they needed a boost to make it look like they were making their books in time and all that shit.
So that is the greatest scams. And I'll tell you what, when I fucking learned about Crazy Eddie's scam, I just stand back in awe. Oh, that has to be the last one. I don't even fucking know what to fucking make. Look, the three of us here thought we were scammers. I mean, dude, Crazy Eddie just fucking eats us for fucking breakfast, dude. Like, right?
Yeah,
it might even just be a fucking snack.
It kind of sucks to fucking look upon the glory of the true scammers. Damn it.
TJ, you're dumb.
It kind of sucks to look upon the glory of the true scammers, is what I was saying.
What are you fucking muting yourself, TJ?
Because I didn't want the audio to fucking bleed into the episode.
What audio?
The audio from shit I was looking at over here.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Sorry, guys. Yeah, what? Yeah, TJ, I'm really glad. Okay.
I see you tweeted during this episode, TJ.
What's that?
I see you tweeted during this episode, TJ.
Yeah, so what? What's your problem, bitch?
Oh, man, I can't wait for Cheetah's next episode because I ain't gonna fucking put a fucking ounce of effort into it.
I'm gonna surf Reddit the entire time I'm on.
What's that, TJ? Oh, I need to fucking tweet my bullshit out.
What?
Recording an episode right now. Ho hum.
What? What?
I heard everything. What the fuck?
Recording a TJ episode right now, and I'm about to fall asleep IRL. Post memes to keep me awake.
Sorry, I just was never able to fucking fully get the goddamn Amber Heard turd out of my mind, and it just fucking it all spiraled from there.
To be a professional and a professional.
It was just fucking. I never like every fucking thing we talked about. It's like, oh yeah, Jim Baker, Amber Heard's turd on the bed. TJ, Amber Heard's turd. Crazy Eddie, Amber Heard's turd. Amber Heard's turd. Who you know this is? It's Isaac Newton. Amber Heard's big fucking stinky smelly ass turd laying there on the bed. Johnny Depp's horrified face as he walked into the room. It's like I can't fucking get it out of my mind. I don't know what to fucking tell you, man. I sat here the entire time.
Share it. It's the first.
You're a sad man, TJ.
It's the first thing I did this morning was I sat down at my computer and I popped open Canoes.
Canoes, yeah.
And I scrolled down and I saw Amber Heard took a dump on Johnny Depp's bed. And I was like, what? And I clicked it and there it was, man. In all its glory.
My eyes have seen the glory of the shitting on the bed.
But TJ, I do thank you for advance because I think your episode's coming up next. It'll be an easy one.
Oh yeah.
You guys just
episode. I'm gonna make myself a little mixed drink.
You guys just be like on hammocks with fucking like
get some
mojitos and shit.
Just wrap them moist.
I'm not even gonna try. Like, why would I even bother trying? I mean, she just admitted he was just a lazy sack of shit during this episode. So, like,
what the fuck? I listened. I commented. I did my fucking job.
You tweeted.
No, you didn't. Actually, you did a terrible job.
I did a fucking amazing job.
You did a terrible job, to be honest.
Amazing job, dude.
Like if I had to evaluate your job on a
top
scale from 1 to 10,
tier,
I'd give you like a fucking 2.
What? 2?
Give you a fucking 2, bitch.
I get like at least a 6.5.
No, you don't. I'm the one rating it.
6.5. I give myself a 6.5.
Go, oh, TJ, what's TJ's dive? Run out of the pool. 6. I'm the fucking judge, and I give you a 2.
Man, you're
a
brutal.
2.
Why are you so brutal?
2.
That's pretty low.
That's all for greatest scams. And you know what, TJ, I will give you this. You did scam your way out of an episode, so good job.
No, I didn't. I was here the whole time. I had to fucking
TJ.
sit here and fucking listen to shit. So it's all good.
I listened to it.
I heard what happened.
To you, TJ.
And you know what? I do want to say
Yeah, TJ?
that Crazy Eddie, is he still alive?
He's dead.
Damn. Well, I hope somewhere out there in the multiverse, Crazy Eddie still lives, and I hope that he finds happiness.
Okay. Well, thank you for that uplifting message, TJ.
Yeah, I hope that he's out there.
much.
I hope he's up in heaven scamming the angels.
I'm sure he probably is. He's got an angel fucking buying a discount stereo right now up in heaven.
Awesome.
TJ, that angel's getting a good deal.
That's what I want to believe.
Well, that's it.
All right.
Yeah.
See you next time, everybody.
Deep bad fight. Deep bad fight.